we're existing. We stay when the music plays, and we stop below and the people sway.
Welcome to Anti-Stall Racing's Formula One series held on iRacing. This is round 9 at the Circuit of the Americas. First time we've visited this track in the Formula series. Been missing off the calendar for the first couple of seasons, but for the first time we are in the Americas, and it's COTA that will be hosting this race. Qualifying's just began, and I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team, which is Biggles and Gazurka.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, yes, to the Lone Star State. They say everything's bigger and better in Texas. It's certainly going to be hot, maybe hotter than it has been heating up in this championship as well. But it appears to be, if we do have the championship standings, and Mr. Gerald will be obviously our producer, aka Caster, this evening. G'day, mate. How are you doing?
Good evening. Yeah, pretty good. And yeah, it's roasting on track and also roasting here in the UK where I'm commentating from at the minute. I'm absolutely sweating my face off.
Yeah, because turn your non-existent air conditioner on.
Yeah, that hasn't been invented yet over here.
Well, I live in a stinking hot, but because I live in a valley here in Panama, which is the reason why I moved out to this little city, I don't require an air conditioner. But in the city, I damn require an air conditioner. So, yep. Just depends on where are you, but Aiden Young right now is out in his home track, of course, and he was speaking to us just briefly earlier before we went live, and said that he's got to really get to put in a good performance for and target a podium here in front of his many home 50,000 plus sold out Americanos.
Aiden being P8 in the current championship. He did only join us halfway through the season, joined us in round 5 Suzuka, and since then he has scored points every race, putting him up into P8, which I believe is a pay position as well. So if he continues going as he is, then he will get a prize at the end of the season.
Yeah, do you have the championship standings for us real quick?
I do. So in P1 currently is Benjamin Seiss, who is with us tonight. Currently on an outlap, I believe, standing with 130 total points. Just behind him, Victor Belair, who isn't with us tonight, crucially, standing with 124 points. So, he was the one that was going to have a chance in catching Benjamin this race, or even the next race, but he's not here tonight, unfortunately. Then P3's right. Liam Kerr. Liam Kerr is with us tonight. Currently P3 with 85 points, so he's a good distance away from Benjamin. So he's going to have to basically get top step of the podium for the next few races if he wants to catch up. And Benjamin he hasn't had the greatest of luck over the past few races, let's say that much. So he's had a few spins, had a couple of crashes, so it could be in Liam's bag if that happens again. And then just behind Liam is Wanto of LP4 with 80 points. So I think those are the only guys that are possibly going to break into the top 2 if they're lucky, but I think it's very, very unlikely. It's currently a battle between P3 and P4 between Liam and Wanto, with only 5 points between them, and then only 6 points between P1 and P2, which will be even greater after this race.
Yeah, that's who it was. It was Victor. I was just trying to think of who it was at the top of my mind that was in the P2 that wasn't going to be here today. I think Victor did mention that last week, if I'm not mistaken, that he could not make today's race. So that'd be very unfortunate for the Spaniard that is running the closest one that could take it to this man, Benjamin, is right out on track right now. And Liam has been on absolutely fantastic form. He's got another win, I believe, last week. So the Aussie powerhouse is starting to work, but once again, he needs just nothing but all continuous wins from now on, and a bit of bad luck, I'd have to say, from Benjamin. But with only probably about 6 or 7 on the grid today, that's a pretty easy task, is it? To even if Benjamin does come plump last, still going to get a hurl of points. That's not be a little bit more than more points than Liam would like, or anybody else that could take it to a win here today.
I mean, Liam currently in P1, set at 130.1. Benjamin starting another outlap after getting bottom of the table so far, 132.2.
So if you want to ride shotgun, we've just right on board with somebody actually. It would be on, like, let's take a say around a hot lap here of the Circuit of Americas. This is we're about to start a lap. This is what I love at the moment. We're on board with Benjamin. Now, this is a very short run up into turn 1, 100 and something meters and change, and then you got a little bit of an elevation change, of course, and you got to spot the apex right there. It looks like, yeah, Benjamin did not spot the apex. I'd have to say, it didn't look too good for me, that's what I'm used to for the Formula 1 game. Climb down the hill, maximum speed, and then through these fantastic S's. Every track has its thing like that. Sweeping, sweeping, sweeping. It's basically just like your Beckett's, Makers, and Chapel, except add a few more corners into it and continue here. Heavy braking, like a little bit of downshift, not full heavy braking. You can see how much of the inside line people use. And then this is one of the most important corners to get a fantastic exit on, which I believe is, off the top of my head, 10 or 11. I think that's 11 actually, yeah. And now you go down this DRS straight. This is where you're getting a lot of the overtaking opportunities. This is cruising down this back straight. It's quite long. Get ready for your spot. This is one of the most, turn 12. You want to get this perfect because you're also looking in your mirrors generally at somebody trying to attack you. You can see right over the chicane there, has to overcorrect it. And this is the infield section you can see on the track map. It's very difficult to overtake anywhere around here because you're just always turning. This is a big short hairpin. And then he's backing off in this one. Then you sweep basically in this big circle around a stadium area right there. You can see from the camera. That's a huge, big stadium. We have lots of concerts, of course. It's in Austin, Texas. It's one of the music capitals of the world. So you've got to have a stadium next to a track. And then, of course, after that, you've only got a couple more corners. And then you're down the main straight. But too many errors, I have to say, from Benjamin on that one. Wonko is now out on track, our Colombian.
Yeah, it seems like Benjamin didn't hit a lot of those apexes, but you were talking about turn 1 apex there. I have to spot it, and that's quite difficult in these cars because how long the nose is and how long you sit, how far down you sit, especially if he's in VR or something like that, you definitely can't spot it. You kind of have to just wing it in and hope you hit it.
You'll notice that the braking markers are on a fence, not on the track like they usually are.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't see them. You wouldn't be able to see them properly. They might still be there. I can't remember. We'd have to check with somebody, but they're definitely on the fence because I think I was looking at it. They should. Well, they were. They are in the Formula 1 game. I'm not familiar once again with this track in the iRacing world.
I think this is a fairly old scan of the track
should be
as well.
It could be an old scan.
I think.
But this is a scan, of course. The Formula 1 is just created visually.
Virtual gaming in the chat. We've got 11 minutes of qualifying remaining.
Let's have a look here. We can see one because it's not going to give us the right angle where you can see the braking markers on the fence. Can't see that. I might be a little wrong on that one. I'm pretty sure I remember saying it. It says it does not show on the stream. Oh, that's mean as in talkies about remaining time. Okay.
There you go. That better?
Reminds me to change my stream deck over so I can see that time as well. Too many scenes to have.
I didn't know this, but on your stream deck button where it says remaining time, if you click that button, it changes it to different information.
Oh. Yes, it does. I had that information up anyway. On the other buttons.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
So
Aiden, unfortunately, is at P4 now, and he's about almost a second off that pace. So I'm sure he wants to pick it up for your hometown hero. So what was that?
I was just saying that Wanto's about to finish his lap, currently P2, aiming for the P1. All best sectors for himself.
He does up it to P, gets it done. Steals it away from the Australian.
Simon Ernst in the chat asking about Season 4. Well, I will have you know, if you turn up to our stream on Friday, GT3 stream on Friday, we've got lots of really, really interesting announcements for you guys. And I guess everybody is watching right now. Come to Friday's stream, we have got loads and loads of new stuff planned that I think you guys are going to love.
believe you almost made me having another 24-hour Le Mans coming up soon.
Yeah, we are looking at a 24-hour Le Mans at the minute. Looking for drivers to fill out a few teams as well. So if any of you guys want to come join the Discord and potentially try out for a team driver, we're running some trials at the end of this week to put teams together and run Le Mans in 2 weeks' time.
We had 2 teams last time for Anti-Store Racing, I believe, and that KSC was definitely their trackside in Le Mans. It's the reason why I have my Zingerberger name now as a nickname in the Discord. Yeah, do we have 2 teams or one? I'm just trying to throw back because there's been a lot of motor racing since then. Do you remember?
Sorry,
you were there.
Say that again. I was reading the chat.
You can't multitask very well, can you?
I couldn't listen to you talk at the same time as reading what someone was saying, though.
That's okay. I was. Did we have 2 teams for Anti-Store Racing last? We did, right?
We did. We had
yes.
We had an LMP1 and an LMP2 team, I believe.
And our LMP2 team did end up finishing. The LMP1 didn't.
Yeah, the P1 died and the P2 did finish. It wasn't the greatest finish ever, but it finished. It always feels good to finish those races.
Oh, absolutely! After 24-hour race, it's because it's endurance, and I have to say now, after doing a few of them, as mad as it is, I think 20 hours now is the most I've done in the 24 hours. It's most of your races are essentially sometimes won and lost within the first hour. Yeah,
it's that. Recently, it seems that there's been like the top 2 kind of run away a little bit and have a perfect race, whereas everybody else just has issues and disappears to the back of the grid.
Unless they take out one of the teams that was casting for that time when the P1 collided.
Oh yeah, of course.
With the team and destroyed our chat. Well, held us back quite a bit. And obviously the P1 had to drop all the way down to about P15 or something like that too, with a huge amount of repairs that they had. But I had my other Aussies in that event for another league I used to cast for when they did F1, and I think they'll probably be back in it again. But it was good to see them actually get inside the top 10, and they qualified behind us in that team. Anyway, they'll be back. I'll be maybe doing the Bathurst with them because they're Australians, mate. I have to.
Yeah, and
like I'm support Leon.
Yeah, the Australians, they're big on the supercar thing as well, aren't they?
Yep.
So
I mean, are they quicker than GT3 cars? That's
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
They're a lot different.
A lot heavier, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think. Anybody in chat knows? But yeah,
it's not a car that I've
thankfully not a 24-hour, but
yeah, not a car I've ever tried driving, so I don't particularly know them very well.
I think the supercars are slightly slower than GT3s, but they're a very different driving style, very different handling, so different challenge, I'd say, to be honest. GT3 speed more comes from, I think they've got quite a bit of more aerodynamic performance than a supercar does.
Still right-hand drive, like you guys in the UK.
That's what we'd like to see, though.
That would be quite interesting, obviously, for anybody outside. Just a handful of countries, obviously, that are right-hand drive to give that a shot in a supercar. Because they're all left-hand drives. I still do it here in the Americas, my friend. Every single time I go to a car, I actually go to the wrong side of the car. And people just look at going, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I keep forgetting. It doesn't matter how many years I could live overseas. I still don't know which side of the car to go to.
Here's a question though: does Australia have roundabouts like we do?
Absolutely.
Oh, you do? Okay, because like that's apparently quite weird.
The city I grew up in was all roundabouts. It was a smaller city, probably about between 10 and 20,000 people.
Oh wow!
And I remember just before I left to go to Brisbane, one of the capital cities of the state, and they just got their first traffic light. They didn't need one because the traffic wasn't that bad. Because roundabouts flow so much better. Only problem is a lot of people don't know how to use them too.
Yes, yeah. We've got an amazing roundabout over here. It's called a magic roundabout. And it's a roundabout surrounded by mini roundabouts. And you have to go the opposite way round the outside roundabout.
Whoa.
And then the correct way round the inside roundabout.
Now, even I would be confused driving that one, so I would imagine that you would have a lot of issues with people not knowing
Yeah, it does.
exactly.
It does cause issues for people that aren't from the area. But it's amazing.
It flows better. Roundabouts I worked for the city council running all their intranet websites and stuff like that, and I had to go through a lot of the rules and regulations and stuff like that. A lot of people would call up as a call center, and I'd have to provide all the documentation to make sure that the call center operators could use it. And even in there, there's a certain amount of transit rules, and a lot of people would call. So it was very interesting how they would explain how they would work. But reading through the reports, roundabouts do flow the traffic a lot better than traffic lights, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you can, I mean, at some point there's a limit when they don't work anymore and you need to put lights in. But anyway, try to find roundabouts in the United States. I don't find too many of them. Benjamin not having the best of luck around here, only in the 31s.
Yeah, that's quite surprising, actually. I mean, I'm wondering if it's a track that he's not so used to or doesn't particularly like. I mean, a lot of these guys don't like this track, let's be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're a little bit slower than average here. In fact, George, Mr. Race Control, could you quickly use the Discord bot and let me know what average times are like around this track?
Unfortunately not, because the official series hasn't actually raced here ever.
Oh, wow. Okay, fair enough.
Official series will race here for the first time tomorrow, is my understanding. I can see if I can have a look on a setup shop, one of our partners, Major's Garage Setups, to see what kind of times those guys have been doing. Bit of a
You got
bit of a
2
plug
minutes
here,
and
but,
change to get your research done on that one.
I'll get it done. And if anyone is interested in a Major's Garage setup, the link is in the description. Great setups for all of your iRacing needs.
So obviously out there, virtual gaming, have you guys, this is a question, have you guys ever thought about making it a rule that they have to drive back in the pit lanes instead of getting a tow?
I was just typing a reply rather than talking, but but there you go, George. You thought of something.
Yeah, I'll take this as stewarding. That's something that we're definitely looking at for future. I think as Gerard said in chat, it's a little bit difficult to manage, but it is something we might look at, and it will be more reliant on other drivers to report those things to us. It is definitely something we're looking at for future. Obviously not ideal if you're a driver, but does add some tactical thinking into everything, and a bit more realism as well, and it looks better on the stream. I've got to say, it's my personal opinion.
It absolutely does. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because it's the one thing I don't like about iRacing. Unfortunately, a lot of leagues do it where you can just hit the magic button and disappear back in the pit lane, which is exactly what Aiden's going to happen to do right now. See, and that's not very realistic, of course, because you have tire wear. You have fuel loads that you've had to put in the car before you come out for these qualifying sessions. And once again, the biggest problem is your time. Because every lap's going to cost you. You got an out lap, and then you got your full racing lap or two, and then of course you got your in lap. That's easily 5 minutes and change.
That's the button I was looking for. There we go. Now I can see a bit of information about the track. Track's 31
It's going to
degrees.
be Benjamin's last opportunity here. You're going to go on board, Benjamin.
Absolutely.
Take you another hot lap around the Circuit of the Americas. You should have a bit of traffic up the road, but it might not be too much of a problem as you go through the fantastic S's. Once again, look at that, and even in the elevation changes, I didn't realize how much there is until you're in a cockpit view.
Yeah,
which is because
you do to spot how difficult it is.
Driving.
You do spot how difficult it is to spot those apexes from this position as well.
Yeah, and this is the very bottom of the hill in the turn 11. Once again, this is the one you want to get that apex. He does this time round spot it. Then you got to get on the power. You can see just a little bit of delay in hitting the loud pedal, get DRS open. Very difficult when the halo is there when you're not driving a virtual reality, of course, because it's in your way. But obviously, some of the drivers probably just to have it not appear for them when they're in, as they're all in the cockpit view.
Yeah, iRacing has an option for that, allows you to make it transparent, so you still see it more like you would in real life, where
It's fair because, once again, yeah,
Ooh.
if you're static like that, not bad. Yeah, if you're static inside the car, like you can see here, it's very difficult with it in your way. There's a car getting out of Benjamin's way. But if you're wearing the VR headset, it's not so much of an annoyance, I don't think.
No, I mean you can kind of understand what it's like in real life if you almost hold your hand up in front of your eyes and try and look towards something in front of you. So your screen for most of us at the moment. But if you hold your hand up, you'll actually see, you kind of see through it. It's still there, but you see through it. So that's essentially what iRacing tries to simulate by letting you have a transparent halo. So you still see it, but you can see through it, and it's slightly darker behind it.
Formula One drivers don't notice it.
Yeah,
They're also
exactly.
used to it.
It's because obviously, well, most of us have two eyes that are able to see around it, and when you're actually driving, you're not always looking necessarily straight forward as well. You're looking to the left.
Yeah, you're always generally to the left or to the right, exactly, because of the braking points. So, your qualifying results there. So the Aussie takes the top step to put it in pole, and about 2/10 actually from Oneco. There's Huns in about half a second down the road in P3. He'll be lining up with our current championship leader, Benjamin, half a second. And then Aiden, he's the hometown hero, starting on P5 and P6 next to Stefan to take out the back row. And George will be in perhaps the safety car, but a small grid like this might not be required, as well as our steward this evening. I think he'll be driving the safety car if it's required, but
yeah, I would have a safety car.
There would have to be at least 4 of these cars, I think, involved before we're going to call it safety car, right? And that's 2/3 of the field. You get to call the race start, as it always goes there, Gerald.
So Liam is, Liam and Wanto, they're both the two to look out for today because they are 5 points apart in this championship. If Liam beats Benjamin to that P1 step and manages to do it consecutively over the next 4 races, he'll be in a chance with potentially a P1 finish, depending on how Benjamin's look goes. So let's keep an eye on that one today.
I think Benjamin's going to be well aware of that. I would not be surprised if he doesn't try to steal a race win here today, or at least a P2. Knowing the fact he's obviously going to try his best to get a P2 or win, because he does not want Liam to keep winning. And that's the two. It's not just that. If Liam keeps winning races, so that confidence boost is going to be even more, isn't it, to go into the next race and get better and better. And Liam has been improving a lot over the season. Touch wood about his internet connections too in Australia, because that latency causes issues sometimes.
Not sure quite what we're waiting for here. Oh, there we go, gridding up. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5. And away they go. A bit of a hesitant start for Benjamin there. He had a lot of wheel spin and has dropped places like a lead balloon. Wanto straight into P1 around turn 1 there, and Liam just behind him. So Liam didn't get the greatest getaway either. Aiden capitalising on Benjamin's loss there, going P3. And Benjamin following up the rear. Really didn't have a good start there.
That's another one from Benjamin. I think he's bogged down again from the start, not engaging the clutch or having some sort of issue there. Of course, the young American took advantage of that big time, gained 2 places. Liam unfortunately got caught off the start. Might get a chance to go back and have a look at the replay of that start again after a few laps down, so we don't miss any of the action.
Just to answer that question before, race times from majors we're looking to be about 1:33 on race pace.
Ah, okay, so let's see how these guys do.
No DRS isn't enabled just yet. A couple more laps.
And even without...
Just to confirm, that's a little bit of a mistake, coming a little bit too deep in the corner, and it's now going to make Liam's not going to be able to make a run around the outside there. He's going to have to tuck in behind, which he will. I think Liam's just feisty at the moment, sending some dummies. He's actually got to realize he's got to make an opportunity here. He's got to send it up. Final corner. Gets back into the lead of the race to start lap 2. Oh, lap 3, if I'm not mistaken. Should be lap 2.
Defending
Okay,
the
it's gone
inside.
defensive into turn 1 as well, making it very difficult for the drivers and back. Yep. So the Australian gets it done. Back up there from Onco, and Onco's got a little bit of pressure there from Aiden now in that P2. They're all still all within the DRS. Benjamin back in P6. Gearbox cam from Onco. And right, that little bumper thing at the back there is where you'll have the light for the DRS activation. Here's a run. Gonna go too deep on that one.
Oh. Yeah, broke a little bit
Yep.
too late there on that attempt.
Bonko still will remain in P2, but I'm not quite sure for how long, as Aiden's going to keep putting the pressure on. Of course, he's got his fans in the stadium are cheering for him every time they go past those grandstands. He's the only driver from the United States here. He's gone too deep again, it looks like. Yeah, similar liveries, but they are not teammates. They don't have teammates.
Yeah, and these guys battling like this is letting Liam get away here. He's now nearly 2 seconds up the road. Out of DRS range, and that's when it gets an issue.
Yeah, the DRS is mighty and powerful around here with the 2 DRS straights, especially that back straight. Once again, you see a lot of overtaking into 12. I think it's 12 or 13, one of them. If we pull the track map up soon, we'll be able to have a look at it. Climbing up the hill, turn 1. I think Aiden's too far back to seize that opportunity. Thank you. No, yeah, you can't do it there. And now it's just a matter of following through the S's. But if you are quick through the S's, you can gain a lot of time. If you're bold and brave, you do take the slow corner of 11 for an overtake. But I think the ultimate idea is there is to get as close as possible and then use that DRS activation down that back straight. Nothing Liam will need to worry about at the moment because he's got that 2-second gap. But everybody else is in the DRS range. Onco's the only one, unfortunately, is not going to have the DRS, so he's going to be under massive defense here right now. This is the back straight. Should see the DRS activate now.
Yep.
Look at those deltas just eat into the clock. Look at that, Aiden down to throw. Almost 2 tenths where you get into the breaking point. Wasn't close enough. So was Benjamin. He took advantage of that DRS quite well. Gonna have to go around again and do it because once again, very hard to overtake around here. And this is the grandstand that they'll be going around. Not the grandstand, of course. Sorry, the concert stand. And maybe has dropped a little bit out of the DRS there from Aiden. Oh, he's on the bubble of it. Or a laden. What would you like to call him?
Virtual gamer in the chat. Next
flashing light.
Next track is Interlagos.
Classic.
And then Spa, then Zandvoort. I've just had a flash on my telemetry saying Benjamin Sice has crashed.
You're
Let's take
absolutely
a look
right.
at this.
He was very close to the back of Stefan, and I think he was, or was he very close to the back here? He's gone too deep here, look. Oh, did he keep it? No.
Oh. That would have been a lovely move to keep hold of, that would.
Yeah, you saw him go into deep on the brakes, and then the rear is starting to slip out on him. Very good, but to avoid the collision, not spoil the other driver's race as well. But I wonder if they're going to be on a team radio. They're telling Liam that yeah, you're closest contender, and the one you actually want to beat the championships now, plump last. But it's still early days. We've seen Benjamin make a run from last to first before.
Well, I believe we did interview him last week, didn't we? And he said, yeah, he wasn't looking forward to this one.
All drivers say that sometimes, and then they come out and win. I don't That's just a part of like that strategy. The same thing that, you know, Lewis would do, saying, these tires are going off, guys. These tires are done and dusted, and then goes out and does a couple of purples. It's just team rodeo tactics. I think Max Verstappen does the same thing now too. Wonko's pretty close. I can't pronounce his name correctly. I call him Wonko, but we need Ed in here, right?
You know what?
Ed knows all the names properly.
Next time, I'll get a list of phonetic spellings of everyone's names, and you can stick it up next to one of your computer screens.
As we get towards the dying end of the season, I'll actually start to get it right. Maybe in the last race. I think Liam needs to worry about them. I know how to pronounce an Australian name, and he's 4 seconds up the road now. Just to give everybody an indication that the tyre they started on. I think everybody was on the mediums apart from one driver, and here's a run now. That could be the reason why Aiden's a little bit more spacier here.
Yeah.
And again, it's the visual thing's wrong, isn't it?
It is.
Let's tell you one code, not giving it up.
Whoa.
You can't go side by side through here, guys. Maybe if you give it a shot, but that's risking it.
Yeah, it slowed them down a lot, so the guys behind them caught up because of that. And it's difficult to tell which car's which at the minute, but the one behind, the blue car behind, is Wanso currently.
So Aiden did get it done. Now, it's showing the soft tyres up there, but visually on the car, you can see it says the medium stripe. So which one's correct?
I believe the telemetry is correct, so trust the timing tower.
All right. So Aiden is on the only man on the softs. I knew there was one person on the soft start, I thought. Could be the reason why he's getting so much more pace, but they're going to have a lot more wear earlier. Yeah, I mean, you are required to do a one pit stop.
Yeah, it's required to change tyres, and to be honest, I'm surprised other people didn't start on the softs here and try and undercut each other.
This is where he should gain massive advantage through the high-speed S's on the soft tyres. Just have so much more grip. You can see that confidence there. How he can just turn in and the car sticks. But however, when it comes obviously down to the straights, the straightaways and all the other areas, well, that's just the same for everybody else. But at some point, the tyres will start wearing a little bit more. Stefan, at the moment in P5, he's got a little bit of a gap down the road to Benjamin after making a mistake, so should still be okay, but he's good. The main thing for Stefan here, obviously, the German driver, is just to keep within that DRS and get that nice DRS train toe. Aiden's gone, see how Aiden's gone really deep there? Now, Jonko, that was. My apologies if you're looking at just up the road, because we're still on Stefan, which is a great view to have. You can see from his point of view how they're all practically evenly spaced, and he's also got the opportunity, I think, of sitting back here and studying those drivers up the road there and what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. Benjamin right in the background just there. So that's what you have. Up the road, Liam, by about 4 or 5 seconds, and then Benjamin down the road by about 2 or 3 seconds from this pack from 2 down to P5. The bump on the inside apex upset Ben's car when we tried to put the gas down. There is a bump on the inside of the apex.
Yeah,
somewhere.
there's a sausage curb in the corner of turn 1.
Ah.
That's and then just coming up to that sausage curb, it is a bit of a rickety corner.
If you could show us those intervals as well, too, please, again, Mr. Director. So keep an eye on that. There we go. One just one back when he's biding his time at the moment through middle sector, sector 2, going in sector 3. Actually, they're split up into 4 sectors, I believe. Is it? No, it's 3 sectors. That's correct. So, yep, this is the 3rd sector. Just wondering where you can see the difference. See, that's yeah, I'm just wondering where Aiden's gaining his time, because I expect the subs to be a little bit better, obviously, in the high-speed S's, but it didn't appear to be on that lap.
There's your little bump.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I see it now. That's to stop him from trying to cut the... Yeah, there's a couple there as well, through these S's. Yep. It's quite a good idea, I guess, to slow them down there from cutting corner limits, but then again, they can get quite dangerous if you hit them at high speed. As soon as you get a bit of air draft underneath his cars, they go flying. Just see Liam in the distance. Just see him down the back straight.
Oh, looks like Wanta's going for something. Side by side.
Yeah,
It's got
he's
the
gotta commit to
lead.
this one now.
Chopping and changing.
Classic turn 11. Overtake done. Sized him up the DRS. The only problem now, of course, is that Wanko won't have the DRS next time around. And he's got the flashing light. That means he's harvesting some energy and he doesn't have a lot of it.
And this would be the moment, if I was Aiden now, this would be when I would pit. I would hop straight into those pits, change for mediums, and try and get that undercut.
So you've heard it from Bono, Gerald. But he does not do it. Now they'll get the DRS down this main straight. I don't think he's too far back to take a turn into turn 1. You can see, I think, yeah, definitely Wanko's burning through that energy. Probably did use a lot of that energy in that last lap to get the overtake done.
Still flashing.
But now he's got to harvest it as much as he possibly can because he's going to have to be on the defense. He's flying through those S's quite good. Yeah, do you think that Aiden's tyres are starting to wear a little bit
Absolutely.
now?
I mean, they're 10 lap old soft. So you could probably last for another 5 to 10 laps, but they will start dying. And they will start dropping off very quickly from now on, I think.
Look how the sun just came out as well too from the clouds, so it's definitely going to heat up a little bit. Yeah, he's too far back now. So that one coach just burnt all his energy to cover off, to try to break that DRS. Almost did get enough time, but that's the disappointing part, isn't it? When you got to time it perfectly, you can see he was about 8 seconds.
Car 67 being Aiden. Noted by the stewards as a potential incorrect starting tyre.
Why would that be?
Because you have to start on the same tyre that you qualify on.
Oh, yes. Wait. I guess we're still running with the 2021 rules?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I was going to say because it doesn't apply. Look how deep that Wonko goes. That's what I'm saying, but you're burning all your energy to try to break that DRS. You can get lucky with it to break that 1 second gap. Aiden goes really wide.
he went
that
really wide
could be
then.
definitely an indication of tyres. Now, he's going low, and that's going to help him. Now, one car you think got to burn, right? Maybe if you've got any battery, use it as much as you can. Do you want to break that 1 second gap, and then you've got that, don't have to worry about that DRS. If you don't, and you burn all that energy, and then all of a sudden down this back straight, all of a sudden that driver behind you is down to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
3 temps, sorry.
Ooh,
And all that you've just done is neglected.
Benjamin's up to
But
something.
I think he's fine. Yeah. I just caught Stefan out with the DRS. And there again, so, Wonko and Aiden are definitely on the bubble down. Wonko, I think Aiden just burnt whatever he needed to get within that DRS, because if he loses that DRS toe, and that's definitely Wonko going up the road. What happened to Benjamin?
Benjamin...
He's out.
Oh, no, he just flickered for a second. Looks like...
He's net coded and got the overtake done.
Net coded into an overtake. Typical.
Yeah, we got a replay of that. Check it out. What happened, hopefully, without the net code.
No, unfortunately, it will have recorded the netcode in, so... I can't replay it without seeing the same thing again.
Well, he did get the overtake done, and that's Benjamin. Back on what Benjamin does, charging back through the field. He's overtaking his fellow countryman as well, of Stefan. But I don't think Stefan obviously probably didn't want to put up too much of a fight there too. And Stefan will also get that nice DRS toe. Benjamin won't.
Virtual Gaming, I don't believe any of them are streaming, but if you do let us know who you want to watch, we'll definitely head their way.
Almost halfway through the race.
And
Getting
no
close.
one pitted yet.
No, Hayden's still not boxing, but now they're all... But Aiden still hasn't broken the DRS there. And neither has Wonko. They're still towing each other along. 5.5 second gap to Liam. I think Liam might have just backed off a little bit. Let's keep his last lap times. 32.8. No, he hasn't actually. Well, 30... Hang on. I'm looking at the last laps. 32.8. 33s for the rest of the drivers apart from Benjamin, who's on 32s. So Benjamin and Liam are the fastest on the track, but that's also because the battle of one car, Aiden and Hans, is all slowing them down just a little bit. It's obviously good for Liam to be able to commit to the low 32s, build himself a little bit more time per lap. One second, I shall get to drink.
Also waiting for a either some clarification or an outcome to that investigation earlier. Hopefully it comes up on screen for us to see, because it'll be interesting to see what happens about that. Whether he was on the wrong tyre or not, and that is Aiden may have started on the wrong tyre today.
Oh dear. I don't want to be upsetting the American audience, otherwise I'll be like in Indianapolis. I'll start throwing bottles onto the track. That's obviously because they were upset about only 4 cars starting on the grid, I think it was at that time. But
yeah, that was during the big tyre protest.
Bridgestone.
Yeah,
only
absolutely.
the Bridgestone drivers, all the rest were Michelin.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because there was actually a lot of the drivers had no problems in wanting to start that race. But the teams, apparently what they were told from Michelin was, they did not want them to, they said, look, if you start the race, sorry, we can't guarantee your safety. And some drivers were like, still, I'll drive, no problems, I don't mind. Safety, but I think for legal reasons, isn't it? Teams can't. Because just say, for example, something does happen to that driver and they get seriously injured. A team can get sued.
Yeah,
and are responsible for those damages to the driver, even though the driver said, hey, I put my hand up and said I want to race, but hey, I'd be like, here, sign this big legal document here to say we are not responsible for your well-being.
Yeah. And it's interesting, tyres were failing back then because the oval parts of the track they're made differently to what they usually make track surfaces out. They're diamond cut, which means they're a lot more rough than what we typically run F1 cars on. So they do shred tyres, which is why IndyCar run a completely different sort of tyre.
With their Firestone tyres. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, the oval said that. That was where the problem was in that race as well too, where they did have a puncher and they were detecting punches or something.
Yeah.
Because that's a high lateral load, isn't it? When you're coming into that banking corner, of course.
Yeah.
It just looks like a lock up there from one of the drivers. And yeah, I did not know that was the reason why, because of the different abrasive materials for the tarmac, I guess.
Okay, so I'd just pop in and explain what's happening with the starting tyre for Aiden Young. Every driver in the session qualified on the medium compound tyre, which I don't know if you've already discussed. Aiden is on the soft compound according to all telemetry that we're getting at the moment, which is slightly strange because in the game there should be a restriction, and I've checked the session settings, there is a restriction which stops cars from starting on a different tyre, so they will be forced to start on their qualifying tyre. Which is a little bit confusing because he appears to not be on that. However, the game should force him to be on that tyre.
That's why he said we'll investigate it after the race, that I presume, because we're not 100% sure what's going on right now. If Aiden is listening, I know he's driving, or is he in any of the chat rooms, perhaps he could even jump in and find out. Because the thing is, too, he should have boxed by now, wouldn't he?
I think he would have boxed.
That's my thinking on the soft. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of telemetry issue. That's why I want to have a chat with him after the race, and I think it's going to depend see what tyre he switches to and swap, because obviously they are required to run both compounds.
But we don't know visually, isn't it? Because we see that visually he's on the mediums.
Visually, he's on the tyre he should be on,
Yeah.
but the telemetry is suggesting otherwise, which is why I think we're going to need to have a chat with himself. I mean, the tyre deg and the way the tyre's behaving suggests it is a medium compound. The game should force him to start on a medium compound, but it's very unlikely that the telemetry is incorrect. So,
Wow, race control's playing tricks so well. The telemetry's playing tricks on race control on us. Stefan's gone to the pit lane. Yeah, if he is in any of the chats, I guess pop in. I wouldn't pop in and talk to him during the corners. But we gotta fire that cameraman.
Thanks, yeah, thanks for that, cameraman. Thank you.
That's a pit lane. It always happens as Stefan's out.
Bit wiggly.
Good launch, bud. You're gonna get temperature to those tires. That's the best way to do it. Gonna burn out of your box.
So he's going for an undertake there. 33 seconds in total on the full pit lane. 6 seconds
So that's the
in
thing.
the box.
Look at Stefan. It's a yellow stripe, but it's got to have softs on now. Don't they? They'd have to be
Yes,
softs,
Stefan is
otherwise
on
you
the
go on
soft
medium to
compound.
mediums. What does it say in the telemetry up there?
So
Let's
Stefan
have a
has
look.
changed to softs.
Yeah, it says softs in the in our information. So yeah, well, the only way we're really going to find out is when Aiden goes on the pit lane.
And he's currently getting challenged by Hans Schlogel behind him, which could mean he is on the softs if he's slowed down that much.
I mean, he's out of the DRS, so he's
True.
what? Benjamin's in. Here's a run, but we'll see. And this should be an overtake
Oopsie.
into turn one. You got to commit to it now when you're that deep. But then Aiden also knows you can get a good exit out of here, but then you're forced to run through the S's, and this is going to be tight. Yeah, look at that. I didn't think it was going to happen. I think Hans just backed off on that one, realizing, no, I'm going to be in the fence or the medical center if I try side by side through there. And I don't think Aiden at all was planning on lifting to yield that position, so that's going to force Hans back a little bit, probably out of the DRS. But more importantly, lives to see another day.
Benjamin had an incredibly slow pit time. 9 seconds it took him in the box.
Yeah, and the real whack, the wheel gun got stuck or something like that. That's been notorious for Mercedes before, of course, in pit lane. Overheated. Do you know? So we haven't had that much of a problem with the 2022 cars with the new tire size.
Yeah,
they
and
use a
like
different, they use a different bolt thing now, don't they? Wheel nut
I believe they do, yeah.
system.
But it's
Yeah.
also really cool because obviously it shows you how strong the pit crew are because they're heavier. They're hevier tires, and they
Oh
still.
yeah, they had to work out, I believe.
Yeah,
They were pre-warned, and they were all a lot of them had to actually do a lot more workout so they could be physically strong enough, because not just physically strong enough, we can all lift those tires, but you could do that day in and day out every single day, multiple times. They practice pit stops, of course, during practice sessions, and they're also moving the tires around because every single time those tires are used, they're going to get washed and cleaned and put back onto the trolley, and then that's pushed all the way back down to Pirelli so that they can then recycle the tire. They Pirelli check all the tires out of all the teams, and of course, then they recycle them back to the factories later on.
Liam Kerr just got fastest lap there with the 132.3.
So he's not worried about his tires at the moment. No problems. But yeah, they did have to work out. Because, you get a little bit tired, didn't you? Say, for example, towards the end, and just and when you're talking about very quick pit stops, around 3 seconds and change, just a little bit lazy on getting a tire in. But the more important, isn't it, the jack gun's not getting stuck and as much as they used to with the wheel nuts.
Well, we should be getting those cars later this year in iRacing, so it's going to be really interesting how they feel in comparison to these.
Yeah, it's a pity we don't have smooth operator in here again.
Yeah,
Trying to remember his name.
very true.
Now. Of course,
Edward,
that was
Sorry,
no,
Alex as well.
Alex, that's it.
Yeah, Alex has been
Because
on
that's,
holiday.
that's when it's good to. Wanko's in and Hans is in. Yeah, because Alex, obviously, you know, our season 1 champion, can give us all the information about how he feels and going to feel the dirty air and all that sort of stuff. Being a racing, we're not racing drivers here, or a Formula 1 car anyway. You guys can tell me about GT3s and stuff like that, but
Oh, the GT3 race. It's going to be one to turn up to next week. Watkins Glen, so it's a fantastic track, and depending
next
on
week or this week?
Sorry, this Friday. Yeah.
This week, okay.
Watkins Glen, the final track, the final race of the season, and the top 6 still technically have a chance to come first.
Nice.
So it's going to be an insane race. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, more announcements on Friday about some wonderful future things coming up from Ansel Racing.
And it's in Watkins Glen, which obviously used to be the very first US Grand Prix. Should be a US Grand Prix, unfortunately, it just doesn't have all the bells and wheels and excitement of Miami and Las Vegas.
I think
the actual,
I think it make a
for the spectacle.
fantastic track. It's
but for racing, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it'd be a lot better than Miami. Nobody really likes Miami. I'm sure nobody's going to like the Las Vegas track. So once again, they're just there for the glamour.
It's a more traditional track.
Liam's in.
He is. Yeah, it's a more traditional track, I find, rather than like all these new street circuits cropping up.
Aiden's in. So keep an eye on Aiden as well, because we know that Liam's coming, but then again, it's not going to show us is it soft tires that are going for Liam. More importantly, how quick he can get in there. Now, yeah, there's a nice there. It does show soft tires for Liam.
That was
go to Aiden.
That was really
a good
quick.
stop.
That was a 4-second pit stop for.
Will this put softs on? Yeah, look, it puts softs on. Aiden's.
Yeah, looks like Aiden was on medium to start off with then. So Liam had a 4.02 second pit stop, and Aiden had a 4.03 second pit stop. So Liam has got the fastest pit stop in the race.
Okay, so just an update for everybody. As it appears that Aiden has now switched to the soft compound, this will give us clarification as to what he ran earlier in the race, because if he doesn't run 2 compounds, he will be disqualified. So if he has in fact run 2 soft compounds, then he will be disqualified by iRacing. And if he did start on the medium tyre, which was the correct compound, then he will obviously pass that legality check and be allowed to keep his results.
Do they check it and they had to check at the end, right? Because they can't check it now, because you can also come back
it'll be checked at the end to see if he ran multiple compounds. You have to run. You have to do a compound switch during.
I'd be under the assumption he wouldn't. Of course, it's an assumption because that's 19 or so laps into that race. That's very deep to go on.
It would have been a very long stint for the soft tyre wear that we've seen so far. Other people really wanting to avoid them, so it would have been a very long stint for soft tyres. And I don't believe he would have gone to softs again without having knowledge that a safety car is going to come out at some point. He'll have to do another pit stop, so I'll let you guys ponder that.
Thank you. Wonko just put in the fastest lap, but he's got a bit of work to do to catch Mr. Lamb. I did see a little bit of a moment there from Benjamin. Can you, Mr. Director, go back and have a look? Because it said he'd crashed again.
I haven't got that on telemetry at the minute.
I'll give you a time. This was fairly recent. Yeah, it's the second time I've seen it today. So look around. It's about where Liam entered the pit lane. So on mine, it's 30 minutes and 7 seconds. It's right around where Liam and Aiden entered the pit lane. So let's have a look what happened. Because if you actually look, Benjamin has dropped quite a bit of time here. He's trying to get temperature in his tyre. He came out of the pit lane, I think, just before that, if I'm not mistaken. So that's, look at that. He's trying to get temperature, and that's just struggling. Big time to get temperature in his tyres. That's probably what it is there.
Oh, and he's back in the pits now.
Yeah, he's back in. So something's wrong. Well, he's last place, so he's got nothing to lose. Do you think he might be putting a pair of soft tyres on to get fastest lap? I think that's very much.
I mean, he'll get a point for fastest lap if he does this.
Yeah. Why not? He's too far back to make the difference, I don't think, catching Stefan now. That's, even Betty's Pacey was about 40 seconds down the road. if you don't mind showing the intervals again.
Certainly.
So that's, yeah, I'd say at this point, Benjamin's just like damage limitations. Let me just finish in P6 and get an extra point. Because I'm pretty sure Benjamin should be able to get the fastest lap, but he's got some fresh boots on. Look at that fastest lap. Isn't it, if I'm not mistaken, identical from Liam and Wanko? Well, I'm seeing
It's
100,000ths of a second.
Yeah, different.
But it is tight here because Wanko is putting in some pretty good laps, and I think Liam's had to respond because that gap's 2 seconds, and there's plenty of time for Wanko to take it to Liam here. So that's definitely going to get very, very spicy. Aiden's back in just behind Hans. So did Hans beat Aiden in the pit stops there as well, I believe? Because Hans was behind Aiden after they went side by side, remember, through the S's, and Hans had to lift off big time.
Just to clarify, that last stop for Benjamin wasn't actually a stop. It was a drive-through for reaching the incident limit, although he's back in again now.
Ah, yeah, okay. So, all right. So you couldn't take tyres on there. I guarantee you Benny's got to take softs and get fastest lap. He can't. There's nothing else for him to do right now in this race. He's got enough time to catch Stefan.
Oh.
And at this point now, he can just go once again. Yeah, just put the fastest lap. Try to steal the fastest lap away, because even that might be difficult for Benjamin because he's just been struggling with the car around here.
Benjamin appears to have stopped in the pit lane.
I doubt Benjamin be giving up completely. This is having
He might have
technical
just received
issues.
a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he's
Everything's
no.
going worse to worse to worse for poor Benny. I know that Benny doesn't give up, but I doubt he would be retiring in the pit lane or anything like that. Especially when you've got a point up for grabs here. That could be, you gotta remember, that's crucial coming down to the end of the season, like if you said, because if Liam starts winning races all the time here, you still have Victor running in P2 in the championship. You don't want to be, you imagine if he comes down to the last race and you lose by 1 point. You would want to go back to these moments and go,
Yeah.
why didn't I get a fastest lap, or why didn't I finish a race here or something like that. Because if you do retire in the pit lane now, mate, you don't get any points, do you?
It's been more than half the race, so you will still get points.
Oh, okay. But he won't get the possible
No,
fastest
you
lap.
would need to pass 85%.
Oh,
score
85%.
points.
Okay.
But he's now been in the box for nearly 2 minutes. And so 1 minute, coming up on 90 seconds.
Is that damage?
I don't know, because
I didn't get any crash
see anywhere
telemetry.
for him to pick up damage. It doesn't appear to have damage. Doesn't actually look like there's a head in the cockpit anymore.
Why would you be sitting in there that long and you think it's just waiting for...
Not actually a driver in the cockpit anymore.
Ah,
Wondering if
But
he's.
can't imagine that he would have retired the car, but it does appear that he might have done.
Wonder if he's.
Stefan's just received a filled black flag as well, but I believe that means he's going to have to serve a slowdown.
He might have just gone to, pick up an energy drink, grab a bite to eat before he
yeah,
comes
exactly.
back
Could
and
have.
sets a
That's
fast
what
lap.
I'm thinking. He still has time.
He's back out.
He still has time.
He's back out.
He's now manually disconnected from the session.
What?
Yeah.
My telemetry says otherwise. Strange. Oh, no, now he's gone. Okay, fair enough.
Well, the telemetry is wrong.
Yeah, no, it just told me he's out. We've got Hans Schlogel now with the fastest lap, I believe.
Yeah, it was. And he's got a bit of a gap there too. So they're exchanging fastest lap like Netflix is trying to get new subscribers. Aiden in but Wanko and Liam, now they've been hovering the 2 second mark. Wanko getting around to about 1.8. I'm not sure it's going to be enough, no, because they're just matching each other on pace. Last lap 31.31 Liam, Wanko 31.39. So there's just nothing between them at this point. Liam has it covered off. Wanko can throw everything but the kitchen sink, and still not going to be enough. You got to be shaving about 0.2 per lap here at least now, or just sitting back and hoping that Liam makes a mistake. Liam's responded actually, just probably shaved about 0.3 off 1 there. So this should be the panning out, but we're more importantly just trying to find out whether or not Benjamin will get back into this car and at least try for a fastest lap. He will get points, right? He has completed the 85% of the race. Has he? What lap did he pull that in? I thought it was lap 22. Somebody have to do the math on that one. I think it was lap 22 he came in. If that was the case...
Who? Sorry.
Benjamin.
Benjamin came in on lap 20.
20. 20's
will
not...
actually be 2 laps short of reaching.
Yeah, that's not 85. That would have not 85%. So, yeah, he can't afford to lose these points here. Can't afford. Is he allowed to stay in the pit lane then for about 3 minutes and still come out? As long as you finish the race, I guess, right? As long as the car crosses the line?
Yeah. If you can get back in the car, then yeah.
Yeah, if he were to rejoin and make sure the car crossed the checkered flag or did at least 3 more laps, then yeah.
That is, yeah, that's something. I mean, unless Benjamin's not worried about losing some points in this championship, but I would be. With the likes of Liam winning this race, potentially. That's a hurl of points, isn't it, that Liam's going to take? You always got to be in it to win it, they say. So just a couple more laps to go. If you wouldn't mind going into Liam, I guess we'll just have a look at Liam's driving style right now. And so the thing is, usually when you are leading the race, you don't get too much of screen time, camera time. But in this case around, there's not much other action on the track, and we can see how the Aussie's been handling this. He's been mastering this track all weekend. And clearly, that's a demonstration of him being a P1. Only pressure he had, obviously, was really early off that race start. Actually, we do have a chance right now, real quickly, if you can, Mr. Race Director. Let's go back and have a look at the race start.
Yeah. That's,
what we got? Because, yeah, we wanted to do that, but we forgot about it as well.
Absolutely.
Just to see how Liam got beat into turn 1. Then again, that's difficult. And then what happened, too, with Benjamin, we got a massive stall for line here. Look at that, he bogged down big time. Yeah. And you can see Liam also bogged down on the inside. So Liam's in the inside of turn 1, but goes to just covers it off. And Benjamin, yeah. So I'll restart again and have a look at what happened to Liam, because here you can see Liam. Only 2 cars that you can see that smoked it up on the race start. Sorry, I'm watching the someone's asking cockpit view. I'm watching the Twitch replay.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he bogged down a little bit.
I think important to remember that Benjamin also had a big problem in, I think it was Hockenheim.
Yeah, he did.
Bogging down on the grid, dropped to the 6th place from pole position, I think.
Yeah.
Liam that day did get a good start, but yeah, it's something that he's going to need to take a look at.
It could just be as simple as that he's been driving a different car during the week, and just his takeoffs aren't quite as rehearsed as they usually are.
Potentially the tyre compound as well, and track conditions as well. He won't have raced here before in the W12 because it's not been raced here really before. Starting on the mediums as opposed to the softs.
He's asking about cockpit view from the start. You got that one. Sorry. I have to watch the YouTube, which is a little delayed because it goes a little crazy for me when I look at the replays. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. He's kind of correcting it because the rears are just
second
slipping.
gear for so long as well.
Yeah.
Something went wrong there.
It's true.
Just trying to keep the car under control. Yeah, not sure really what happened to him today.
Just absolutely.
Looks like there might have been some other issues outside of the car as well.
Show him Liam as well, because Liam had a little bit less wheel spin, but Liam was overtaken by 2 cars going
White
into that
flag has
first
been waved,
turn.
by the way.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
We got a little bit of time, I think. Real quick, look at Liam. Yeah, let's see Liam. See, that's the same thing. So you got to correct it to the left. He's up in the second gear, third. Yeah, see, he's upshifting quicker, so he tries to.
I mean, Liam did the correct thing.
Reduce the wheel spin.
Yeah. He took away the torque from the wheels by shifting up, which is what you're meant to do when you start wheel spinning.
All right, so back to Liam to finish off one more lap. Got 2. There is a little bit a moment coming out of turn 11.
You don't want to risk anything now.
No, you can't. But he's got pressure, so it's not like he could just take a walk in the park. But look at that. So the last lap was the fastest lap. Maybe at the moment I would be, as an engineer, as saying to Liam, okay, mate, just calm down a little bit, all right? You've got the fastest lap now, but don't you risk getting off the track anywhere. You just want to bring this baby home and get another trophy on your cabinet, another race win up your sleeve. It's very hard to tell a driver to do that, but they never listen. They want to push these things as fast as they can, and then they start, calling themselves stupid when they make a mistake. Charles Leclerc.
That's Liam Kerr crossing the line.
The Aussie's done it again. And he's done it in the barbecue state of the Americas there. So, yep. Texans and Aussies, we work together in tangent in this time around. The Australian has owns the circuit of the Americas, domination from qualifying. P1 gets it done. P2, all the top three actually. One started in P2, gets the job done in P2, and Hans as well too. Starts P3, gets it done in P3, 13 seconds down the road. Aiden gained a position there. Stefan gained a position. We don't know what happened to Benjamin because he's out, and Benjamin will not score any points, unfortunately, for this race. Which hopefully we'll get a chat to about. That could just be a complete technical issue, isn't it, if he's having to do that?
Right, let's see if we can grab hold of anybody.
It's amazing the car park's not full of that many cars, considering the grandstands are jam-packed. Guess everybody walked to the track. How do they laser scan these air conditioners on top of the buildings? I'm pretty sure the car doesn't go that high when you're laser scanning it.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yep. George, for our race control this evening. Not much Tad George had to do, so just this evening, I think the only concern he had to look at really was whether or not Aiden had started on the right tyres, which was correct. He did. Very easy race control this evening. To Michael Massey would wish to have that one last year's race ending. To see if we can get some of the drivers in here for a second.
Yeah, I haven't got any.
And then we've got a concert tonight, mate, because I believe you're playing. What's your band's name, Gerald, in that stadium?
I wish. I really wish.
You'll probably be doing the sound and lighting or something like that.
Yeah, I'm having a good bop along
booth.
with the lighting. That'd be me.
And there's your official results if you'd like to go to that for us, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Liam Kerr in P1. Wanto Val, P2, just 2 seconds behind. We didn't actually notice how close he got towards the end there. I saw it just as we were looking at the last lap that Wanto really started pulling a gap closer again. And Schlegel, P3, who was battling it out with Aiden for half the race, I think. Aiden unlucky there, not getting the podium step in P4. Stefan Harmon, one place up for him in P5. Benjamin, very unfortunate race, not the greatest qualifying ever. Obviously did not like the track in the slightest, but still, I think he still retains... yeah, he still retains P1 in the championship after this race anyway, so he'll need another mess-up like that to not retain P1 in the championship. So hopefully he pulls it back for the last 3 races, which will be Interlagos, Spa and Zandvoort. Still waiting for any drivers to pop along. We do have Liam here, so just going to move him down to us.
Yep, well, the Australians back. They say they can barbecue in Texas, mate, but they can't barbecue like the Aussies can here, mate. Another race win, dominated weekend. How was it for you?
Oh, it was perfect. I practiced so much working on the setup for this track, and it finally paid off. I need to win the last couple races to have a chance at the title fight, so trying to keep that going with the fastest lap as well, so hopefully that extra point counts well. So very happy with the weekend. Very good result.
Absolutely, the trifecta, my friend. All threes there: qualifying P1, the race win, and the fastest lap. All the maximum points you could possibly take, which is exactly what you said. You need to be doing that weekend to weekend from now on, and it seems like you are definitely improving better and better towards the end of this season. And if you're aware or not, Benjamin not picking up any points that were today, so that's a massive hit too. Yes. He did not finish the 85% of the race. We're not quite sure exactly what happened.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Cool.
So it is. It's good for. It's not good for Benjamin, but it's great for you, mate. Exactly, because you've got the best thing you can have when you pull off the perfect weekend is to have the drivers leading the championship not pick up any points.
Yeah, that's perfect. Both at the top not getting points this race. So
yeah, Victor wonderful. Not being here as well. So exactly, you could do everything you can, and you did it. Gerald, any questions there for Liam before we get him to celebrate even more now that he has that news?
I'm just doing a bit of maths here to look at these standings. So, Liam, you're currently on 110 points after this race. Wait, did you get fastest lap as well?
He got fastest lap.
Yes, that's 111 points after this race. In comparison to Benjamin's 130 currently. So you're probably another 2 races away from being safe if Benjamin does have unfortunate races yet again, but it's definitely within reach, I think. Victor Blair currently in P2 still with 124 points, and obviously didn't turn up today, so he's your next big target and an easy target if you do well next week as well.
Wow, that's actually not that far off.
No, it's not that far off at all, and you've got 3 more races to do it in.
Perfect. Wait, where are we going next weekend?
I was about to ask you that one. Going to Interlagos. Do you reckon you're going to be all right there?
Oh, I love that track so much. Excellent. I didn't get to go there last season because my wheelbase broke, but I want to win there again.
Excellent. So
it looks like such a fun track.
Last 3 races got Interlagos, Spa, and Zandvoort.
Oh wow, that's that's pretty good lineup.
It is. It's a fantastic lineup. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you there. Hopefully you do well, and we wish you all the luck and congratulations for today.
Thanks.
Go get a meat pie and a sausage roll, or a Chico roll, or whatever that stuff that you get. Those delicious food in Australia.
I'm starving for a Chico roll right now.
Yeah, see, I missed it too. I haven't had. I was dreaming about a Chico roll. I think last night. Anyway, I'm missing Australian foods. A Vegemite on your toast or not, mate? Is that what Is that what gives you the power, or the motivation, the spirit? Are you a Vegemite man?
Yeah, I'm actually a Promite man. Believe it or not.
A Promite? Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
But that's close enough.
Don't kill me, but I prefer
this might
Promite.
surprise you both, but I actually know what Vegemite is, and I love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, similar to Promite, as you guys get in the UK.
I've never heard of that one. We have Marmite, which is quite different.
Oh, Marmite.
Yeah.
What's Promite? Is that the New Zealand one? I can't remember.
I think that's the budget knockoff of Marmite.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, but no, Vegemite, I could eat that stuff off a spoon. Love the stuff.
Yeah, it's like me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Amazing.
Another trophy for the cabinet. You're going to need to buy another room in your house for those trophies soon. But you want the biggest one of all of them. The driver's champion.
Fantastic. So tempting, man. I'm drooling over it.
Well, they're starting to put it. You're starting to subscribe an L in there and an I. So keep going. You got to fill it out completely. But otherwise, it'll be a B and an E and an N that we've ascribed in. So thank you, Liam. I believe we have Aiden in here real quick here. So the home time hero gets P4, gaining a position, and certainly a lot of battling going on. Aiden, we were debating up here a long time why the telemetry was showing you starting on softs, but obviously that wasn't the case, mate. You did the mediums, right, to the softs. How was your race?
Well, saddening. Very saddening. I wanted that podium so bad. It's heartbreaking, really, but oh well, push on next race and hopefully get one maybe next time. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what was going on with the telemetry. I started on the mediums and then went to the soft, so don't know what was happening there, but hopefully that will get fixed before next time.
Yeah, you know what? I'll ask my usual question to you. Are you going to be here next week with us at Interlagos? And if so, how do you find the track?
Well, I quite like Interlagos. It's tricky, but it's also a fun circuit in a way. I mean, maybe not in a way, but it's a little like Monaco from me, in my opinion. So that's why I like it, because it's tricky. It's got a couple little technical sections in it, and then on top of that, it does have some fast corners. So yeah, it makes you work hard to get a good result. And yeah, I'll be there next week, and I'll be here next week.
Fantastic. And Interlagos is also one that looks absolutely amazing on stream, so do make sure everybody that came today tune in on next Monday for that particular race, because the championship is getting extremely spicy now.
We got a chat from Virtual Gaming out there asking him, Ms. Aiden, which is the track that you like the most out of next race or Spa? So Interlagos or Spa, I believe is the question.
What's the track I like the most?
Between
Out of those two?
Spa.
All right. Classic
Surprising.
Belgium.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, very surprising.
You visit me in Interlagos in turn 11, the Lonely Palm Tree right there. That's where I always sit with my pina coladas. I'll be casting from there. Might get a little noisy, of course, when you hear the cars go by, but it is, the Lonely Palm. Make sure you look out for it. It exists.
We'll definitely check it out next week, because we'll definitely be here. Other than that, we've got F3, F4 tomorrow. Smaller grid sizes now, it's holidays and later on in the season, but it will be here, hopefully. And then GT3 on Friday, which is going to be the one to watch. It is the grand finale of GT3, where the top 6 can still win it. Obviously, big crash prize at the end of that one for the winner. So make sure you turn up to that one. It's going to be absolutely fantastic right here at Andestal Racing. So thank you to everybody that drove today. Thank you to Biggles for coming and joining me in the box. And thank you to everybody that watched. And we shall see you all, hopefully, next time.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinny.